Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning all. I'm Ista Maharsi from English Language Education Universitas Islam Indonesia. Are you students of English Language Education or are you novice English teachers? Are you wondering how to teach reading and writing? If your answer is yes for one of those questions, you will definitely find the following information useful. Before you teach reading and writing, there are several important principles that you need to remember. First, the nature of both reading and writing. Second, the principles of teaching and teaching stages. Third, the skills to develop reading and writing classroom instruction. Fourth, the skills to create relevant assessment of reading and writing. And fifth, the skills to apply effective classroom management. Okay, now let's move on to the nature of writing. In writing, all students need to be taught about genres of writing. Genres of writings are types of writing, for example, descriptive text, narrative text, and other types of text such as report text. And in writing, we need to introduce our students to the process of writing. There are at least 5 stages of writing. The first one is pre-writing, the second one is drafting, the third one is revising, the fourth one is editing, and the fifth one is publishing. Our students also needs to know what is authentic writing. Authentic writings are types of writings that can be found in our real life. For example, application letters, letter of complaints, so that we can also teach our students about how to write this kind of writings. And another important things in teaching writing is mechanics of writing. For example, the spelling, the punctuations, and also the grammar. Okay, now after we understand about the nature of reading and writing, now let's go on to how to prepare to teach reading and writing. Before teaching our students how to teach reading and writing, I would like to tell you about the general mistakes in teaching practices. This is very important so that our students can teach properly. And those of the mistakes are inconsistency of teaching materials, and then unsmooth movement from one stage to another, unprepared teaching media, lack of rewards, unclear instructions, involving students in all stages, and build good rapport with our students. And what we also need to teach our students is that there are 3 stages in reading and writing. The first one is pre, and then while, and then post. So when we teach reading to our students, we need to consider about the activities that we need to give in pre-reading, while reading, and post-reading activities. In pre-reading activities, we can give our students warm-up activities or ice breaking. This ice breaking may include short but fun and exciting activities so that the students can get motivation before they start learning. In warm-up, we need to consider that this is the very beginning stage in teaching. And because this is the beginning, we don't need to give our students difficult tasks. The tasks should be short, concise, and fun so that the students are ready to go on to start their learning in the next stage.
Okay, now let's start with Rewriting. When we teach our students pre-writing activities, we can give them several activities. For example, we can ask our students to make a mind map or a concept map. You can ask your students to find a topic for their writing. Of course, we have determined the types of the writings that we teach on that day, and then we will show them or demonstrate how to create a mind map or a concept map. For example, uh, our students can write about tips to prepare for exam. Then we can ask our students to brainstorm about anything that can be discussed related to tips to prepare for exams. The students can simply give their ideas. For example, study as early as possible, note on important things, answer quizzes, make a study group, review from old exam. Then our students can give more explanations or points that they are going to write in each part of these sections. Okay, so by doing this, we train our students how to brainstorm as well as categorize their ideas into mind map. Now, another example of pre-writing activities is free writing. In this free writing, we determined the topic of what we are going to write first. Then, as teachers, we can ask our students to free write. Free writing means that they write anything that they want related to the topic that have been chosen. So after the free writing activities, the students can read their writings and then try to categorize what they have written into several parts, or they can categorize into groups of ideas. This free writing activity is very useful for students, especially for those who have difficulties in categorizing topics or subtopics. So, these free writing activities allow our students to free write whatever ideas they have into pieces of writing. Well, after the pre-writing activities, we have the while writing activities. In these while writing activities, we can give our students several activities. For example, we can ask our students to arrange paragraphs to match between an incomplete paragraph, and then there will be some choices, or filling the blanks, or completing paragraphs or sentences. This is an example of editing peer checklist, which is also another samples of while writing activities. So we can ask our students to check their peers or their friends writing. We can use this kind of uh, editing checklist, or list that things of the things that the students, the pairs, the partners, to check on one's writing. We can also have a pair or small group discussions, so the students can discuss about uh, their draft of their writing. And then this is an example of jumbled paragraph. So in while writing activities, we can give them guided practice first. For example, we give them jumbled paragraph. If we have to write about a descriptive paragraph, for example, so we give them a sample which is jumbled, and the students need to rearrange into a good order. Another sample or another exercise is paragraph completion. So this is the way how we give samples to our students by providing an incomplete paragraph, and the students can complete the blanks here. This guided practice can bridge between the theories, yeah, that we have thought before, and before they really produce their own writing in post-writing activities. And then after we give them guided practice like this, we do the checking, we give them feedback, then we can ask our students to write their own from the very beginning. So when teaching writing to our students, we need to give a step-by-step activity so that the students can follow smoothly. After this exercise is done, then we can ask our students to write certain types of paragraph or essay, for example. It depends on the purpose of the writing lesson. For example, we ask our students to write a descriptive paragraph, then we can determine the topic first, or you can give them clues of what they need to do, like how many words they need to write, and then what kind of topics, like, well, is it about holiday, for example? Is it about describing things or describing people or describing historical places, for example? So the students can start their own writing after they have got exercises on how to develop writing. In post-writing activities, so after the students finish their draft of their writing, then we can do these post-writing activities. The activities can include revising. So this revising activity should be based on peers or teachers' feedback. So it depends on the teachers, whether the teachers will give feedback directly or the teachers ask students to do peer checklist or peer feedback. And the next thing that they need to do is editing. In this editing process, the students need to check their punctuation, capitalization, spelling, consistent use of technical terms, and others. So in this editing stage, what they need to look at or notice is the technical stuff, the mechanics of writing. And then before they submit their writing, it is also suggested that we teach our students how to check for plagiarism. Well, if there is no subscribed application for checking plagiarism, the students can go to small SEO tools or plagiarism checkers, which are free online. This is a good start to teach our students to always check their plagiarism. If possible, then the teachers and also the students can also check their writing using Turnitin. After this stage is done, then the students are ready to submit their writing.
One thing that is very important is giving feedback. So, in reading, for example, we can ask students to answer some questions, some reading comprehension, for example, and then we need to give feedback. This feedback could be direct or indirect feedback. Indirect feedback, we can give our students alternative answers, or we can just simply praise our students because they have answered correctly, or indirect feedback, meaning that we suspend the right answers by, for example, asking students to have discussion with their peers. And then we can give feedback on the answers of the reading comprehension questions, for example. And then, after we finish with the practice, we can go on to the production stage. In the production stage, usually we will give our students some activities, freer activities. For example, we can ask the students to write about something like, for example, we have descriptive text. So we give our students samples of descriptive text, and then in the production stage later, we will ask our students to write descriptive text. This descriptive text should be made as natural as possible, or we call that as authentics. This authentic task is very important because this should be close to our students' life. For example, we should not ask our students to describe something which is unfamiliar to them. For example, we ask our students to describe um, Eiffel Tower, for example, while they have never been there. So it will be more useful if we give our students tasks how to describe the city where they are living in, or the historical buildings near their house, or anything that are close to their lives. And then, because in writing, there are stages of writing, so we need to go step by step. We can ask the students to have the draft first, and then they can do free writing, and then we can give feedback, and then they revise their writing, and then they edit their writing, and then after that, the writings can be submitted or published. So in writing tasks, we do not give our students questions, for example, or tasks that they need to write about something, and then they, after we give them several time, like for example, 30 minutes, and then they submit the task. This is not the things that we need to do.
You still have the same tags but for another skill. Here, you can see the same tags as previous but with writing skill. Please bear in mind that reading and writing are linked to each other, which means that if you want to write perfectly, you have to read as many as possible.
The next thing we need to consider when teaching reading or writing is classroom instructions. This classroom instructions is very important because by doing this, we give clear and appropriate instructions to our students. There are principles of direct instructions for our students in teaching reading or writing. And there are many theories about this, and some of them are from Slavin, 1994. So we can have the learning objective statement and orient students to lesson. And the second one, we can have review, prerequisites, and present new materials, and then conduct learning probes. Gain and Bridge also propose several direct instructions. They are gain and control attention, and then inform the learners of expected outcome, stimulate recall of relevant prerequisite capabilities, present the stimuli inherent to learning tasks, and over guidance for learning. While Hunter, 1982, suggests four direct instructions. They are objectives, review, input and modeling, and checking understanding and guided practice. So, when teaching, we need to remember that our instruction should be put short and clear so that our students can follow what they need to do in the classrooms.
Okay, and then the next thing that teachers need to do is how to assess writing. So, when teachers assess students' writing, there are at least five things that we need to consider. The first one is the purpose of writing. What is the purpose of writing? If the purpose of writing is to assess students' ability to write a narrative paragraph, for example, or a narrative essay, then the teachers need to stick on that instruction so that all writings that are not included as narrative paragraphs or narrative essay, of course, uh, should be, uh, well, maybe we can give it back to our students to have the next revision, for example. Or if the purpose is um, for formative assessment, then it can be part of the process. If it is a summative assessment, meaning that the students will get the grade, will get the score, because that will be the end of the task that the students need to do. Then we need also to assess the students' process of writing. Well, usually it may happen when we have formative assessment. So we also monitor how the students process their writing before they submit the piece of writing. And then we can also focus on the product. So this product assessment of writing is usually for a summative assessment, where it's a kind of a test where the students are given certain times, okay, and then we ask them to write about a genre. We give them the topics, and then after the time is up, then the students will have to submit. The next thing we need to consider is, of course, genre. Genre is very important in writing because without giving the students knowledge and also skills to write certain genres, it will be very difficult for them to develop their writing abilities. So whether the teachers will assess the students' narrative paragraph, descriptive paragraph, or a report. So the teachers need to use certain categories or certain contexts of this kind of writing. Then the teachers need to give or show the students first about the scoring rubric. This scoring rubric is very important so that our students understand what they are going to be assessed. For example, there is a component of content, for example. So students, of course, need to pay attention to the content of their writing. The other component is usually organization. So the students can also focus on how they organize their ideas. And then grammar is also part of the components in scoring rubric. So students need to pay attention to the grammar of their writing. Okay, this is a sample of a writing rubric, as you can see. So for example, paragraph writing, descriptive. So this is the genre. And these are the components of the things that will be assessed in our students' writing. Topic sentence, proof of description, organization, concluding statement, and mechanics. And we have this one is the range of the points that the student will get, and also the descriptive uh, points, yeah, that the students will get for each components. We have excellent, 4 points, good, 3 points, fair, 2 points, needs attention, 1 points. And then we give description for each components here. The students will get 4 points when their topic sentence is the first in the first sentence in the paragraph. It is a clear statement of the paragraph content. And then the students will get good or 3 points of their topic sentence when their topic sentence gives some clarity of the overall connectivity of the sentences present, and they will get fair if their topic sentence give little evidence of relevant topic connecting to the other sentences, and they will get 1 point if there is no topic sentence presented in the paragraph. So these descriptions are very important so that we can assess the students writing fairly.
Next, for assessing writing, you will need a rubric. And as you can see here, this is an example of writing rubric. You can use this as a guidance for assessing your students' assignments. You will determine the topic sentence, proof of description, organization, concluding statement, and the last one is mechanics.
While in assessing writing, we need to consider the purpose of writing, the process of writing, the product of writing, genres of writing, and the scoring rubric. So, as teachers, we need to design all these assessments that are suitable for our students. We need to remember that we should not assess our students of what they haven't learned. Okay, so hopefully this information will be useful for you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.